guys, you might have seen some of my Insta360 videos. I am actually in love with the X5 itself. I know that it's not a new product. However, I do have some accessories that Insta360 did send over, and that is the ND filter and the GPS mic. And in today's video, I want to go ahead and unbox these two, install them, and leverage them. It is quite an overcasted day. It was supposed to be a sunny, beautiful day, but we did get some tremendous colors this morning. So we don't know how the ND64 will come out, but we'll give it a shot, especially as we maneuver and drive around. So let's get right into the unboxing and deep dive into the microphone and the ND filters for the X5. What's going on, guys? This is Eddie, aka Mr. Eddie Nunez. Thank you so much for hitting that play button and watching yet another one of my videos. Right now, I am filming this video on the Insta360 itself. I have an ND64, which is the only filter that I got from Insta360 for this camera, and it is quite like an overcast day, but then we also do have some like clear skies behind us. So we'll see, but I am using the ND64 and I'm using the actual mic here. This is the, the microphone that has a display GPS, and it is 32-bit float. So this is going to be a totally different experience than my last Insta360 X5 vlog, where I just used it straight raw camera alone, no ND filter and no microphone. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. How is this going to really help my workflow? In just a few minutes, we're actually going to get out of here and go to a second location. And what I want to do is actually mount my Insta360 on the back here, in the back of the Cybertruck, kind of pin it with the tonneau cover and get some, footage going down this road. Now, the one thing is that I'm probably going to take off the ND64 because when I'm shooting in auto mode right now, when I switched over to the manual mode and I kind of locked in my shutter at 1/60, even 1/120, which I prefer because, the stabilization, less jitters, it was extremely dark at ISO 100 and even ISO 200. And as you know, these action cameras really do not perform well when it comes to a higher ISO. So I'm probably going to take off the ND filter. Actually, I know I'm going to take off the ND filter for that shot to the next destination. And what is going to be cool though, is I'm going to be able to monitor my video just using the microphone here and seeing, like what the camera is seeing while this Insta360 is all the way in the back. So let's go ahead and, jump right over here and let's mount this Insta360 on the Cybertruck in the back and go down this squiggly road here. It should look pretty epic, so let's get right to it. All right, so for starters, let's go ahead and unbox the ND filter here. I've already opened it like every other YouTuber out there, but I haven't used it at all actually, but I just wanted to take a look to see what is included. And these are kind of expensive. I want to say they're like 60 bucks, but I'll put the price here on the screen. As you can see, you get a nice little Insta360 case. You open it up. Here you have the actual filters. They feel like the glass protectors that you would buy. So nothing too special here about them. However, the case is actually pretty cool. It feels premium. But the most important thing with this is going to be functionality. How does it work? And they attach very easily. In fact, let me go ahead and possibly attach one. So I have the Insta360 camera here, and you definitely need a microfiber cloth because you're going to want to clean this every time you install them and remove them, because you're going to get your fingers all over your fingerprints. So you just want to put it over and slide it right in, and you're going to notice this notch here and these sort of orange colors, and that's how you know that they're tightly secured. To remove, just do the opposite, turn it, lift it up, and you put it back in your case. And we're going to talk about some like early concerns that I have just about having these overall. Now the remote, the GPS remote here, and just going ahead and opening this, you get to see that there are a few accessories here. This is the actual microphone slash GPS remote. You have a power button, you have the mic, and you have the record button. Here is a wind muff, and then this looks like it's a clip. And then this is a clip that you can put on your sort of shirt, and you can clip your microphone right on to, you know, this device, which can attach to you. And furthermore, in here, there should be additional accessories because you can actually wear this as a watch. There is sort of the watch handle, and then there's probably a wristband. Yep, there it is. So you also have a wristband, very similar to like an Apple Watch. You can wear this as a watch. So that's the unboxing. Let's actually go ahead and leverage this and use it and see how all of these accessories actually perform. It's probably in your car. Like it's probably in your car. What color is it? Black and blue. There goes my buddy Jerome. He's actually leaving. He was highly impressed with he was highly impressed with the Cybertruck. He lost his phone case. We were looking all over for his phone case. We can't find it. But let's get set up here and let's go ahead and head to that second destination. All right, so quick update. We actually did install the ND64 because as you can see, the sun is completely out. We're gonna do this trail with the ND64, so kind of had to change our heart there. Right now it is on full auto. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it to manual with the 64, and we're gonna take this ride down and see how that looks. So yeah, let's do it. And we have some motorcycles pulling up here, which is probably pretty cool. This road is actually excellent for these bikers. All right, so what I've done now is I've actually switched. So I'm at 1/60 on manual settings. ISO is still cranked up at 200. So is the ND64 the right filter to use, or should you actually get the ND32? That's a great question that I know I had when looking at all the available options. I really wished Insta360 will sell this as a combination with the kit, all three at a reasonable price and not at 60 bucks each one. But let's mount this and let's get to it. All right, so we made it to the next destination, and yes, the Insta360 survived on the back of my Cybertruck, just pinned with the carbon fiber extended selfie stick. But let me tell you, just, you know, two opinions, like fresh first impressions using these two accessories. Just in that small little task, I noticed something, you know, unique about both items. And let me start with the filters, because the filters can kind of be perceived as negative because filters add a lot of sort of cumbersome annoyance to your filming process. It really does. You know, I'm sure, like, if you're watching my videos and you're part of my audience, you're flying drones and you take off and you don't know if you need an NDA, an ND16, an ND32, an ND64. And as you can probably tell or have seen already, right, I started in a really bright environment where I was confused as to whether or not I'm going to use ND filters because I only have an ND64 and it was quite overcasted. But then the sun just came roaring out and it's still out. But what I didn't take into account is that I locked my settings. So I was shooting at 1/60 because I'm shooting at 30 frames per second. I have my white balance locked, which has nothing really to do with ND filters. And I have my ISO locked at 200 because I was already a little bit on the underexposed side. And what I didn't take into account is the fact that I was going to be driving through curves. So yes, you know, at the top of that mountain in Storm King, there was no trees and I had all that sunlight. But at the minute that I started going downhill, I'm going through, you know, the mountain, through tree curves, etc. That those trees are blocking the light and I was completely underexposed. And a lot of that footage is probably not even usable. And with Insta360 camera, you can't really like manipulate a lot of the stuff in terms of exposure, like raise the highlights or shadows, because the image just starts to fall apart. So, you know, the filters, overall first impression, I think it's phenomenal to have. I think it's going to come in really handy to get, you know, natural motion blur, not that fake motion blur that you can do in post-processing. But I think on my e-bike where I'm, you know, out in the open and it is quite a sunny day and I want to get that motion blur, or my one wheel or my electric skateboard, I think those are the use case scenarios where this will come absolutely handy. But like for vlogging, I don't know. Or maybe it's just I got the wrong one. Maybe ND64 is not it. Now, on the other hand, the GPS module, the GPS control. This thing, where has it been my whole Insta360 life? Because as I mounted the selfie stick on the back, or the invisible stick, not the selfie stick in the back, I was able to keep a close eye on my shot, but also know that it's back there. I also was able to tell, that's how I was able to give you that impression of the ND filter, because I was able to see that on my screen, I was completely, underexposed because I'm under trees. There wasn't enough lighting. And then when I came back out, I'm able to see that it looks pretty good. So this, I think, is a game changer in terms of your flexibility with the Insta360 X5, because you can also change settings. You can change, like the color profile. You can change modes. There's a lot that you can do here, but as well as it's a microphone. And I used it at the beginning to vlog as a 32-bit float mic. And we'll do some, small vlogging here. And I took off the ND filters, but I'll probably put it back on here because it's an open environment, and do some vlogging with this. And I don't know if you'll get motion blur, because just walking, you might not even just get motion blur just walking, but we'll see. But anyway, this is a must. I think highly worth the $200 and so. The filters, it's questionable. It's an action camera. I think at the end of the day, you don't want to overcomplicate action cameras. But let's continue on with this video. We're not done jet testing. That was just like the very first time I tried both of these accessories. Let's use it here, and we have one more location to go to, and hopefully we can get some fall foliage colors here at Bear Mountain. Let's take the drone up in the air. Obviously, I've been chasing fall foliage, but fall foliage this year is just so weird. There's not that much color. I went to the Catskills. You'll probably see that video before this one, but I went to the Catskills. Typically, the Catskills starts peaking towards end of October. And I saw online on Facebook that it was already peaking. And when we went, Stevie, Captain Ray Kelly over here from New York, we were shocked to see that, it was all brown. It was all dead. So came to Bear Mountain, Storm King, gonna go to Croton Dam right now, here along the Hudson, to see if we catch some fall foliage. Now, there is some fall foliage available here at Bear Mountain. You have some colors, but what I'm noticing is that it is not as vibrant as previous years. Like, it's just not. The colors are not there. Like, there's greens, obviously. There's orange. The orange is kind of mute. The reds are kind of mute. And a lot of brown. But the beauty about post-processing and editing is that you can make this into something magical and really bring out the saturation and contrast. By the way, check out this high tide. Tide is pretty high, which is unusual for this area. And look at that beautiful Cybertruck back there. Always got to mention the Cybertruck. I'm not paid for by Tesla, but I just kind of love Tesla overall as a brand. And, back on the Insta360 X5 here, no ND filter, as I stated. Straight up auto, and of course we're using the mic to get that clean 32-bit audio. Now let's jump in the car. Let's head on to our last and final stop, and I'll give you sort of my final conclusions. We'll talk about price, we'll talk about features, and we'll wrap the video up You know, just based on my usage, is it worth it? I kind of already gave you an indication if it's worth it or not. What do you think? Drop it in the comments below. Based on what you've seen so far without watching my last final conclusions, is this microphone and the ND filters worth it for your Insta360 X5? DJI doesn't have this, by the way, so the Insta360 team, they're already winning. All right, so we are here on the last and final destination. I have the Hover Air following me, the Hover Air Pro Max by 00 Robotics. And this is the last location that I'm gonna be flying my drone. This is Croton on the Hudson. It's a beautiful bridge. The fall foliage, to the earlier comments that I shared, it's not really there yet. Like, we don't have so much fall foliage. The colors are just like not as vibrant as they typically are. But a lot of vehicles, I've taken a photo of every vehicle I've owned on this bridge. And I'm not gonna be able to do that today because just the line of cars is absolutely insane. Line of cars here. I'm not gonna be able to take my shot, but we're gonna be able to fly our drones for sure here without a problem. And get some fall foliage because there is some color, but not as vibrant. But anyway, let's get back to the car. Let's launch the drone and get some flight-ins. And then we'll close out the video with what my comments are overall about the accessories for the Insta360. Wow, I can't believe that there's so much traffic. And this little guy handles like a champ, any condition. Like, the best follow drone you can possibly buy is the Hover Air Pro Max. All right, so that pretty much wraps up this video. The ND64 from Insta360, $59.99. I did see that they have a 3-pack now, which is available on their website. At the time of purchase, that was not an option. You had to buy them individually at $60 each. So $59.99 or $149.99 covers all three, which is an ND16, an ND32, and an ND64. Then we have the GPS mic, which is $159.99. And this is not only a microphone, but it's a GPS monitor as well as a built-in live display that controls your Insta360 camera. It comes with a whole slew of things inside the box, as I demonstrated in the unboxing. It comes in with the remote, the mic fur cover, a clip, a wristband, and a remote base, which is for your bike or like a pole. Like, I might be able, this is too thick, but if there was a pole, I might be able to attach it. So it comes with all of that. I think overall it's pretty good. It's a great value. You know, the ND64, as I alluded to at the beginning of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and do some more testing, but I just wanted to give you a preview of what's that like. I literally only used it on the Cybertruck when I was riding back. So that's pretty much gonna be it. First impressions of these two products. Stick around, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notified on all future videos. I'll be doing a deeper dive on both of these, and I look forward really to giving the ND filter a better try, because I think ND64 is the right filter in a well-lit environment, because an ND32 just might not be enough for that motion blur. So that's my ending thoughts. I'm happy with the purchase, and we'll do some more testing to really qualify that. Until next time, peace.